Subscribe to the damn YouTube channel.
Amen.
Joe,
Yes.
you don't have to do it.
You saved me time. I
Easy.
could go
Just
right
click
off.
the button.
These guys are working hard. They got an awesome episode. They got an awesome podcast. They're putting in a ton of work.
Thank you.
Subscribe, like, all that.
Dude,
Do what Aaron says.
that right there and put it in the advertisement.
Clip it. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks, boys.
See you, boys. Thank you, guys.
Take care.
You got it.
Good shit, fellas.
That works.
All right.
Fucking eggplant.
I got it.
Hello and welcome to episode 31 of the NJ Multi-Species Podcast. I am your host, Joe Santiago. As always, my partner, Chris Pereira, is here.
What's going on?
Tonight we're bringing our guest right on. We've been waiting to get him on here for a while. He's been fishing New Jersey for only over 40 years. Chris is waving his shirt in the air. In 1997, he created the website njfishing.com that today is now known as the gold standard, basically the archive Bible of fishing in New Jersey. We have Mr. Gerry Zagorski here today.
Jerry, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, guys.
Jerry, pleasure to have you finally.
Oh, thanks for having me on. I really support what you guys are doing. 100%. I mean, listen, if at the end of the day, if you can't be fishing, you might as well be talking about fishing, right?
We appreciate that.
Some of my family members would disagree with you on that.
Some of mine would too.
I definitely agree with you. Yeah, Jared, like as Joe was alluding to, njfishing.com, to be clear, the forum, the website, the original, I can't say enough about it. We've talked about it before. Probably 90 to 95% of my best fishing buddies and most people I fish with, except for Joe, I met through njfishing.com forum. So basically, I have you to thank for that.
Well, cool.
Yeah, but me and you, I met him just for I met you through the njfishing.com Facebook page.
Oh, is that true?
Wow,
Yeah.
I thought you guys met on Tinder.
A grinder.
Oh boy. Harry's gonna just get right in on it.
Yipper. Come on,
Gerry.
gotta have some fun.
Jerry, what gave you the idea? It's 1997. Nothing like this is really around yet, and you're sitting there. How do you pluck this out of thin air and make it actually turn into something?
I've been in technology all my career, Joe, working at places like IBM. And when I got recruited into AT&T Wireless, they were just kind of starting out the wireless internet. And I got my first copy of Netscape that you actually had to pay for, had a dial-up connection. And I found this website out there that was, kind of like a national fishing website. So I joined in. I mean, I immediately got addicted, and I said to myself, we ought to have something like this for New Jersey. So I was sitting at a bar one day, surprise, mentioned it to a friend of mine, and he happened to know a guy who just launched a website for his company. So he put the two of us together, and a couple of years later, that was in 1995, I guess, and a couple of years later in 1997, after some work, we launched a website. I think the first post, on the message board was, "Is anybody out there?" And it turns out there were a lot of people out there.
Wait, can you still see that post or that message on there?
I've tried with the, that archive stuff or website history, but at that point we had a totally different message board platform. So unfortunately, no, but like you guys, I met a lot of great people. As a matter of fact, one of the guys I met on the site, I'm going to his wedding down in Tampa this weekend.
That's
Awesome.
nice.
Yeah.
One of our guys last week started crying on the show from it because he got so emotional over the forums. But now you during the lifespan of the forum, obviously you could probably see how many comments or posts. Freshwater versus saltwater on that website. The two forums, saltwater pretty much dwarfs freshwater, or no?
Well, yeah, I think, it's a function of, how long the site has been up and, what my kind of interests were. I mean, I've always been freshwater fishing, but, ever since I got a boat with one of my income tax refunds, which, by the way, I neglected to tell my wife about. That's a whole other story, but
I just, when I buy expensive fishing stuff, if there's anyone who cares, like I just pretend I won it in some kind of contest. It works every time.
there you go. There you
That's
go.
it.
Yeah.
You won it.
Yeah. So, but the freshwater site is really, I think if we kind of like took a snapshot over the last, 4 or 5, well, maybe even 10 years, is, it basically runs par and par. I mean, there's a lot of great people, on both of the forums. I think, we probably have a little bit more, sponsors or whatever on the saltwater side, but yeah, it's been a great ride.
Yeah, I think, I think just the industry in itself kind of probably lends itself to more of the saltwater side when you're talking about, charters and stuff. But
Yeah.
we have seen more freshwater guides pop up over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And a lot of them we're good friends with. You got Eddie Mackin, you got
Yeah.
Aaron Graybill, Mikey K,
Yeah.
to name a few.
Yeah.
And but I think that's probably the main reason. I think by the time the freshwater guys started looking on the internet, maybe some other type of stuff was popping up, which kind of brings me to one other thing. I know a lot of the guys that love NJFishing.com, they're kind of concerned of where the future is going with it and how forums in a way are kind of fading into the back burner, and some of these other sites seem to be, because they're easier to access and use, I guess, they're kind of coming to the forefront. And to me, it's just totally different. It's kind of like, just for an example, that fish brain app. It's basically a spot burning app. I don't use it. I know a lot of people don't like it, but it's fairly popular, at least it was. And I think the difference is when you're talking about a forum like NJ Fishing, it's more of a community where where anglers can hook up and talk about fishing and kind of learn from each other, rather than some of these new things where you just post, oh, I caught this fish here, I caught this fish there, and then hundreds of guys just get their information way too easily. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess my question is, and the question a lot of guys have is, what can we do to help keep places like njfishing.com kind of closer to the forefront and keep guys talking on there? I know I try to post on there sometimes. I don't get there as much as I used to. Like what could we do to help keep it towards the forefront, I guess?
Well, listen, it's all, at the end of the day, it's all about the content. And I hear, your concern, your statement about, it's a lot easier to post on Facebook or, name the app or whatever. It's a lot more convenient. They have mobile apps and things of that sort. So, some of that is on me, and I've tried to, over the years, kind of make the site a little bit more mobile friendly and things of that sort. But listen, at the end of the day, I can't compete with sites like, Facebook or FishBrain or whatever, and the convenience of it. I'm using a third party app that's, I don't know, certainly not as widespread, and doesn't have a mobile app and things of that sort. So I think at the end of the day, it's all about just trying to make an effort to and joining a community rather than joining something that everybody and their brother is out on. I mean, there's certainly some merit there, right? A lot more people posting on these Facebook group pages or the apps and things of that sort. But I think at the end of the day, I made a very conscious effort many years ago when I started the site, is that I wanted I erred on the side of quality, not quantity, right? And I'm very selective about, letting people on the site. I'm very selective about, what I will and won't allow to happen on the site, and, things of that nature. So, if you're looking for more kind of quality rather than quantity, I think this is a great place for people. But listen, technology moves on and changes, and, all the forums are, I think, for the most part, suffering as a result of, some of the social media sites and mobile apps and, things of that sort.
Yeah.
I feel like though a guy will go on njfishing.com, he'll post his post, and then he'll also post on his Facebook. But
Yeah.
I feel like the njfishing.com post that he makes is much more detailed. Like they don't write like details on Facebook the way they do on the forum. You know what I mean, Chris? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I think I think basically what's happening is, like Gerry said, it's quality over quantity, in that when I post something on njfishing.com, it's almost like I feel like I'm showing this to the couple of dozen guys that I know, that I respect, that and I know there's more guys. I know there's guys
Right.
there's guys gonna be creeping anywhere that just look for
Right.
information and never really contribute back. But I think it's much less on the forum than it just plastered on a social media or one of these newer apps. And I think that's the big difference. But I also wanted to add, even technologically speaking, I think the forum, the NJ Fishing Forum, has one major component that none of these other sites really have that I've seen, and that's the search function.
Absolutely.
And that search function is basically going to let you search an archive of some of the best fishermen in New Jersey over the years or decades, really, and their posts.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big part of the site. I mean, our message board software gets indexed by Google and everyone else, and we do have that search forum. So we've got stuff on the site that you can get as granular as what's the perfect hog rod or what's the best fluke jig, and you're gonna.
I've gone down horrible wormholes on that forum. Don't even
Yeah, you can.
You got to try not to even get. I put lead core in once, and it led to like this. I can't even tell the story right now of where it led me to.
I don't want to know where it led.
Oh my God, it'll
But,
just. Yeah, it has so much information. It's just.
You gotta stay on the
You're
forum.
right. There's a lot there, Joe, and you gotta kind of weed through it. But the fact that well, I know myself. I'll go on Facebook and I'll see a post and I'll go back to find it, and it's like, where the hell did it go?
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's no search function there, and when you use that search function on NJ Fishing Forum, you're getting a direct link to the archives of, like I said, some of the best fishermen in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sorry, but I truly believe most of them have or still do use that site over the years. I think almost all of them.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, over time, we've seen the amount of site visits and things of that sort, have pretty much remained steady over the years. I mean, we've got probably 50,000 unique visitors a month. Some of them are registered, some of them are not. 150,000 total visits per month. So people are still going. But listen, it's not as convenient to post as it is on Facebook. And, on Facebook, right, or, name the site, a lot of people who are into social stuff, they're on it all the time, where our site is, pretty much focused on, if you're ready to fish or you want to fish or you want to talk fishing, our site is it. So we've seen the number of posts go down over the years, but the number of visitors are still, very, 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 very strong.
Yeah, well, they're probably trying. They still want that information.
Yeah,
That information is always going to be relevant. I mean, things change in fishing too, but it's usually in like a cycle.
yeah, yeah,
Something changes a little bit, and it always usually seems to come back around as far as techniques and stuff like that. But
yeah. I've noticed that as well. I mean, uh, you think about 25 years ago, and no one was into conservation and catch and release fishing and things of that sort, and now a lot of people are, right. So I think that has changed. Obviously technology has changed, and things of that nature, but listen, everything changes, right. Change
yeah,
is constant.
yeah. Well, since you mentioned going back about 25 years and how guys weren't really, I wasn't fishing 25 years ago. Like when you're talking about this site, you said 1997, I wasn't fishing yet.
Is that right?
I was in high school. I could have been fishing, but I nobody in my family fished.
Mm,
I didn't have a grandparent or parent
yeah,
or cousin. Nothing.
yeah,
Nobody fished. I had a buddy that liked to fish. His parents didn't fish. I think me and him maybe caught some sunnies once or twice over the course
yeah,
of growing up. That
yeah,
was the extent of my fishing, and kind of brings me to the next question that I know we kind of wanted to talk about is getting kids into fishing. My experience, obviously, I don't have any kids, and I didn't have that luxury. I wasn't taught. I had to teach myself how to fish
yeah.
after college. My buddy texted me while I was at work after college, and he just said, "Hey, let's get our fishing licenses and go fishing." And I just kind of said, "Yeah, all right, that sounds like something to do." And long story short, I became obsessed, and that's it. I had to teach myself over the years. I've had plenty of friends, and I obviously picked up tidbits here and there. I had one friend in particular that was an older guy, and we liked to fish together. He definitely introduced me to a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so that was the closest thing I ever had to like a father figure that showed me fishing stuff, but it wasn't really like it wasn't the same as if when I was a kid, a father or grandfather taught me how to fish. It just
Yeah.
wasn't the same. It was kind of like a back and forth learning process, which is fine. I mean, I turned out fine in the fishing world, but I'm actually curious. I know Joe has kids and he takes them fishing all the time. And talking to you earlier, you have grandkids now that you're getting
Yeah.
into fishing.
Yeah. 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 I'm curious as to how Joe got into fishing. Who introduced you to it, Joe?
I was introduced to it from my father and my uncle. My
Right.
father and uncle both fished. My uncle used
Right.
to take me when I was a kid. My dad used to take me and my brother almost every night for sunnies.
Right.
Uh, so that's how I started. But yeah, Chris told me that you wanted to talk about some of the getting kids involved in fishing and that topic.
Yeah, and listen, the reason that I do it, and I'm sure you guys will agree, I mean, you get a lifetime of enjoyment out of this sport, right? I mean, I used to use it, my working career to kind of unplug myself from that, right? I met a lot of great people, and who I still hang around with today, and it's a social kind of thing, getting a bunch of guys and going out fishing, and some people will take to it, some people won't, right? In my case, Chris, much like you, my dad wasn't, into fishing at all. He wasn't into the outdoors, but I had an uncle who was, and once he introduced me to it, I mean, I was hooked, and it's my kind of passion to share our great sport with other people, because you get a lifetime of an enjoyment out of it, both I think mentally, socially, and I want to give people that same opportunity. I have one grandson who is kind of casually into it. He'll fish with me every once in a while, doesn't fish with himself, so it's not for everybody. But my grandson Hudson, who's now 7, I mean, this kid like eats, breathes, and sleeps fishing. I mean, I got a text from his mom the other day, and she's like, "Oh, thanks for introducing Hudson to fishing. That's all he wants to do now, right?" Which warms my heart.
Hey, I mean, as far as things that kids can get into, that's one of the better. I mean, she should be thanking you for real.
Yeah, no, I say that tongue in cheek. She actually does, and listen, kids could be in, like you said, into a lot of things,
Hey,
and
you didn't teach them drums or anything like that, and banging on the drum set all night or anything.
right, exactly, and it's our thing together, right? That's the thing that I'm not involved in his everyday life or anything like that, and
Yeah.
so it's the one thing that that it's our thing, right?
So I think my question for either one of you, both of you can answer this. When it comes to, okay, you show a kid how to fish, I think obviously the tactic would be you take them fishing for something where they can catch a lot of, like sunnies,
Yeah,
a lot
yeah,
of sunnies, or
yeah,
something where
yeah.
that's going to be successful. And then so they catch some sunnies. What do you think? Do you think it's already in the person whether they're really going to like it, or if they're just like, yeah, that was cool, but I'll do it every once in a while with you, versus oh, I got to get out there again. I got to try to catch a bigger one. Oh, I got to try to catch this next species. I got to try to catch as many as possible.
Well, I think it's different for everyone, right? I mean, I immediately took to it where other kids won't. And especially in today's day and age, there's so many other distractions and things of that sort. But I think you're right. I mean, part of the thing that I did with my grandson was, I started kind of priming that fishing pump like very early on. I mean, you see that fish behind the wall up there. I would tell
Yeah,
him
yeah.
stories about Walter, right? That's Walter right up there. And I got him into it early. It was the same thing with my other grandson, but every kid's personality is different. I think for the most part, you have to have kind of like I think some of it is kind of innate, right? You have to
Yeah.
be able to kind of know how to relax a little bit. You have to really enjoy the outdoors, and is that a gene? Can that be taught? I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. I think
Everything you just described, me and Chris don't do any of that while fishing. Like, we suffer horribly. We're horribly
Some
uncomfortable. It's not fun.
Yeah.
it's definitely fun,
Well,
but
you guys are like narcissists, I guess. I don't know. I mean,
the relaxing part I should do more often. A lot of the times I get in my own head and it turns into like this weird challenge where me and Mother Nature are just standing chest to chest, like
yeah.
bumping heads together, and neither one refuses to give
Well,
in.
listen, that I think that too drives some people, right? I know a lot of fishermen who are very competitive, and I know a lot of fishermen who just like kind of do it to escape and relax. So
I think that's really the beauty of fishing in general, it can kind of be whatever you want it to be at any given time.
Yeah.
I always thought too that, and I don't know. Obviously, in America now, there's a huge drug epidemic, especially amongst young people.
Oh, sure.
I myself have been to multiple wakes of kids that I went to school with that are no longer here because of it.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like fishing kept me out of a lot of that shit. When there was a party on Friday night that everyone else was out at, I was home on the computer, like, looking at something for 4 hours on what's the best headlamp to buy. Like that. It occupied all my time. I didn't have time for that stuff.
Yeah.
So it does that. But a lot of people do ask me, like, because I have a boy and a girl, and they're both very different. And, Joe, how do you get your kids to go fishing so much? A lot of people take their kids fishing, and they can't get them into it.
Right.
The truth really is kids probably under the age of 10, they're not interested in fishing at all. They're interested in catching.
Yes.
When my kids go fishing, they're going to catch fish. Like when I first started taking them fishing, I took them to the Pay and Fish in Pennsylvania. It cost me a fortune, but they caught trout all day.
Yeah.
When I took them to Spruce Run trolling for hybrids, I was there 2 days before scouting the spots.
Yeah.
So every time my kids have ever gone fishing, even salmon fishing, I make sure the river's loaded. They always catch fish.
That's a good strategy.
That's how I do it, and they always beg me to go. If you constantly take a kid fishing and he's just not catching fish, or he's just eventually going to he's going to stop asking to go, or she. So while they're young, you got to keep them on fish. Don't take them out on exploratory missions where you're experimenting. Take them out for the sure things. That's it.
Yeah. I'm picking up what you're laying down there, Joe. I mean, definitely. I mean, that's why I started my grandson off with sunnies. I mean, right?
Yeah. Don't take them musky fishing with Mark Medusky their first trip.
And wake them up at dark 30 in the morning and keep them out all day and
keep the kids on fish.
Hey, I went fishing with Mark Medusky one time, and he Babe Ruth a muskie or 3, and we caught 2. So I don't know, maybe your kids are safe going muskie fishing with him.
Tell Medusky when you Babe Ruth 40 trips in a row, eventually one of them will work.
Hey, well, maybe I got lucky. That was the first one he did with me. But don't let your kids go blue cat fishing with him in Washington, D.C. I promise you that.
No.
Well, but here's a question, Joe. I agree. I think your strategy is great. But at some point, you do have to teach them to fish, and it may not be successful, right? So what do you think at what age or at what time do you think you have to do that? Because if you do it too early, then maybe, this sucks sometimes. I don't like this.
I read an interesting article one time in Field and Stream magazine, and it said girls who have children who have outdoorsmen as fathers, girls have a tendency to gravitate towards hunting, and boys have a tendency to gravitate towards fishing. I don't know why that is, but I kind of am seeing that, or my daughter is gravitating more towards hunting. It's just weird. I don't have an explanation for that. The girls like to gravitate towards hunting when dad does that. I don't know why. But they do both love fishing. But yeah, I don't know exactly how to answer your question. I don't think I can. I guess I would say at 10 years old is the age you get your hunting license in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Probably 12 years old is when you're going to get sent off by yourself. Dad won't be in the stand with you anymore. So probably 12 would be for fishing too. I mean,
that young, you think?
You get the license at 10, yeah, probably.
A 12-year-old kid can hunt by themselves? Really?
10.
A 10-year-old kid can hunt by themselves?
Not by themselves, no.
Well, you said at 12 you send them off by themselves. Good luck.
See, hunting's that's a whole nother thing, because that you can't make exciting for them. They're just going to have to sit there and
Yeah,
Well,
which well, and I think Joe, to your point before, I think the girls are a little bit more patient than the boys are, right?
Yeah,
So
that could have something to do with it.
yeah.
But
maybe
yeah,
make it more
they like
competitive for the boys.
they love fishing. But yes, that's my number one piece of advice. If you want your kids to be fish, keep them on fish. Keep them
Yeah.
catching fish.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, at the same time, you don't force them. I mean, I've run into several kids. Oh, my dad used to take me fishing all the time, and I hated it. And it wasn't until their adult age, right, that they kind of like got back into it. So, you can't force them. I mean,
Well,
either.
they got to
So,
go through. Got to go through that phase where they're too
yeah.
cool to be seen with you, and then they come back eventually.
Yeah, but
Isn't
Joe,
that the
that's not
truth?
supposed to happen when they're 4 years old. Your kids are doing that to you already?
My son, yeah, he ditched me. Right, my daughter's still here though.
How old are they, Joe?
4 and 7.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah,
Joe's 4-year-old is too cool for him
The
already.
4-year-old caught his first salmon last week and then just went his own direction.
He's almost
Awesome.
taller than him already, too.
That's not true. He's
Yeah. Well, I think the bottom line though, in my mind, is that I like to give everyone the opportunity. I mean, young or old, the opportunity to get out fishing, and some people will take to it, some won't. I mean, I have a friend who swore he'd never fish or own a boat because he just wasn't into it at all, and now he's got 2 boats, and his son is into fishing, and so I think it's just about giving young or old the opportunity to go out and enjoy that, and some people will take to it and others won't. But I just get so much enjoyment out of it, right? That I want to pass that joy, right? That gift that keeps on giving along to anyone who is interested in it, right?
Yeah.
Do you find njfishing.com to be your legacy? Do you think you're gonna leave behind that legacy for future fishermen?
I hope to. Yeah, I mean, I think I like to think that we've helped a lot of people along the way. Both our viewers, the people that participate on the site, the lurkers, and our sponsors alike. And listen, I mean, anything that you set out and do in life, I think if you do it with a purpose in mind that's not attached to yourself, right? That's for the kind of like greater good. You know, I think that's a good thing. I mean, I was really into it, and I never had any idea that I'd be able to, make a few dollars, on the website or whatever. That wasn't a purpose of me, and coming up with the website. I mean, it was just to kind of, get people into fishing and meet some fishing friends, which I've met a ton of on the website. So, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I hope that I don't know where technology is going. I've never been accused of being someone who loves technology. I had a flip phone not that long ago. I don't really like technology. I don't know where it's going, but I do hope that the forum style, like the NJ fishing forum style, I hope that is saved in some way, like that it just can continue on, like that they don't come up with something better than the current internet and it wipes all these old websites out. Like
yeah,
I hope it's always there. Not just for the information, but for the networking, for the community that it made and that still does make. And I want to throw this in there too. A lot of guys complain about when someone makes a post and they maybe give away a little bit too much information or something, and they complain, "Oh, now there's going to be more guys fishing in my spot."
spot burners.
Yeah, and I do believe there's a right way to post fishing reports and a way that gives away too much information. I do agree with that, but what I hear a lot of guys complain about is how many fishermen there. Oh, there's too many fishermen. This place isn't good anymore. There's too many people fish here in New Jersey, and we've got the most densely populated state in America, right? So we probably see it more than other places. But what I want to say is there at some point you have to realize that you need people fishing to keep the sport going, right?
Absolutely.
If yeah, in a fantasy world, if like, oh yeah, if only me and my buddies fished these couple of lakes, it'd be so much better. But you start taking away all the anglers in the future, and the next thing you know, now the tackle shops can't stay in business because they're not making enough money. They go away, and it's just going to be a chain effect. Next thing you know, fishing as we all know it is no more.
Well, yeah, I mean, point in case, I mean, you go up in Hunterdon County, right? There used to be 5 or 6 bait and tackle shops up there. Now there's one, right? That's, kind of barely hanging on. And, if you're an occasional fisherman and you don't know how to net your own bait and, whatever, I mean, what are you going to do, right? I mean, so you gotta support those people. Unless we continue to be good stewards of the sport and continue to introduce people to it and give them information and helpful tips and tricks, then it's gonna go away. I mean,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah, I think that's my point. Is like helping people to an
Yeah.
extent kind of breathes new life into the sport as a whole. And you don't. I'm not saying you don't have to tell people every little thing. I don't want anyone telling that. We've talked about it before. Like that just makes lazy anglers. But to someone looking for help, and I see some guys just blow them off and stuff, and I don't agree with that. Take the time to help some people, answer some questions. You don't have to give them all the information. You just point them in the right direction, or
Yeah.
maybe you
Yeah,
make
and you do it discreetly, like through private messaging or whatever, right? I mean, so I think you're right.
yeah,
There's obviously a happy medium there, um, but you're right. I mean, it's up to us to promote this sport of ours, to support all the businesses that are associated with it. So when we want to fish, we can find bait or tackle or whatever. And at the end of the day, once again, I mean, in my mind, it's all about giving people the same joy and opportunity that I got from fishing, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, I think everyone should I think everyone should have the opportunity for sure. But I think personally, everyone should at least try it once. I mean, you never know.
yeah, exactly.
If it's
Yeah,
not your thing, it's not your thing. But I mean,
exactly.
There's a lot of things that go into the two sports that don't even like with fishing, like seeing the sun rise on the ocean. Like a lot of people have
Yeah,
never seen that. Seeing the
yeah,
sun set on the ocean, we see that every day. Like a lot of people have never seen that. Like they've
yeah,
never been out on the ocean.
yeah.
So the sport, it brings a lot of things that the normal everyday person doesn't get to see in regular life.
Yeah.
So it goes way beyond fishing itself to me. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, listen, all the whales that are in our area right now. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I can go out and fish and not catch a thing, but I see a whale. I mean, that kind of made my day, or a sunset, or a sunrise, or whatever you might see out there. You're right, Joe.
Me and Chris we were 2 months ago. We were what, Chris? Probably about 3 miles offshore, and a raccoon swam by the boat. Like what?
I don't think we were even three. I mean,
That's crazy.
yeah. I mean,
we're
we're
thinking
probably-
somebody like didn't use their boat in a long time and took it out, and the raccoon attacked them at sea. That's what I guess
You know
happened.
what? It's funny that you mentioned that. I had a friend of mine tell me a story just the other day.
dude, if you
His
tell
boat
me a
had been
raccoon attacked your friend, I'm gonna lose it.
no. His boat had been in storage for some time in a yard somewhere, and a raccoon climbed into it, and they were like 4 or 5 miles offshore, and all of a sudden this raccoon just pops up out of nowhere,
Wait,
right?
when did this happen?
Oh gosh, I think it probably was maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and finally they were chasing the raccoon around. They had enough, and he just jumped into the water.
2 or 3 weeks ago, so that wasn't the raccoon we saw. But
Okay.
I imagined a very similar story, and I mean, we were gonna save it, but I think that thing would have went ballistic and just mauled all of us and gave us all rabies or something. So it looked like it was well on its way to getting to the shore. So I think it was all right anyway.
Oh yeah, they're good swimmers. They are good
Jerry,
swimmers.
what are the rumors that Chris keeps spittering and sputtering about the NJF
Well,
Christmas party possibly coming back?
It's not just me. You realize how many, when we asked for questions, anyone have any questions? We got, the creator and owner of NJ Fishing, Gerry Zagorski. We got a handful of questions on this. Everyone wants the NJ Fishing Christmas party to come back. It's been a couple of years, and you and I were talking about it the other day.
Yeah. Well, so we're gonna do it. We were gonna do it at the Woodbridge Brewing, which is formerly JJ Biddings, and looks like it's gonna be on the 16th. Stay tuned for details. And we're gonna revive it again. I mean, I really miss it, and I know I get asked all the time as well, and during COVID it wasn't obviously the right time to do that. I don't want to be accused of being the super spreader or whatever, but yeah, it's time we kind of dust off the Christmas cards, put our Santa hats on, and go whoop it up and have some fun. It's probably going to be like a 3-hour kind of thing, like 7 to 10. We're going to have, beer, wine, and soda, a little buffet, and we're just ironing out the details of that as we speak. And so keep December the 16th in mind. And I know, you guys are going to be, partnered up in that.
Yeah,
with me.
we're joining you. We're gonna join you. We'll make this NJ Fishing Mayhem Christmas party.
Are you sure? You're sure you want the mayhem people at this public event, Jerry?
Oh, well, I don't know.
They do tend to show up in numbers.
Well, that'd be great. I mean,
well, it is going to be first come, first serve. So we got to be clear about that.
Yeah. So it looks like, we're going to have to limit it depending on, if we want to go with a private room or use the dining room to like 75 people or so. So we'll, kind of put it out there and people can RSVP, but, it's definitely going to be a limited number of people. I'm pretty sure, after a 3-year hiatus, we're going to have a pretty good turnout. So, when people start to, see the announcements out there, and once we firm things up, you need to, kind of get in line and raise your hand.
Yeah, I know a lot of guys are going to be really happy. I just wanted to make sure the date was confirmed. I got Fast Eddie. He needed to know what date. I'm busy in December. I want to try to make it. So December 16th, that's going to be the date, 100%.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean,
event.
Yeah, it's the last time that I spoke to them. That date was still open. Just kind of finalizing the details. But listen, if it's not the 16th, it'll be some other day. But I'm pretty sure that's what we've kind of zeroed in on. The 16th is a Saturday. We used to run these parties during the week. Which I think, a lot of people had a problem, attending during the week because they got, jobs or, whatever and kids. But so anyway, that's what I'm kind of zeroing in on.
Yeah. So, all right. So it'll be a Saturday. I mean, more people will probably be able to make it.
I think so.
And it won't, it's later on in the day, usually around 6 or
Yeah,
7?
we usually do like 7 to 10. If it's a Saturday, maybe I'll, move it up to like 6 to 9 or something like that.
Don't move it up too early. I might be fishing that day.
Well, there you go.
Well, okay. So obviously we're going to have a lot of big news with Jerry. Jerry, I hope to go fishing with you soon. I haven't got to fish with you yet.
Well, we had a question from Mikey K, and he was actually curious about what's your favorite things to fish for, freshwater and saltwater. If you had to pick one, he was curious about that. So maybe get some ideas what Joe could come fishing for.
Yeah, well, listen, my passion in freshwater is smallmouth bass. I just love, and I love that that's the multi-species podcast poll that you took. smallmouth bass came out number one. I mean, I just think they're the best pound for pound. And as far as saltwater fishing, I used to be a big tuna nut, and I got kind of old and tired about going out on these overnight trips and things of that sort. So now I think it's probably blackfish because they're the most challenging, and like smallmouth bass, I mean, pound for pound, you can't beat the tug of those blackfish. Right?
I'm with you on that.
I love it.
The black.
Have you ever been to the NJFishing.com striper meet and greet on Lake Hopatcong?
As a matter of fact, I think it was last.
You jumped in with Mikey, right?
This spring with Mike K. Yeah.
And you still think smallmouth fight better?
Oh, definitely.
Well, you don't
listen,
think?
Listen, a striper
a little bit harder.
Well, the stripers definitely pull, but as far as I'm concerned, I mean, there's really, there's not much skill involved in catching a stupid. Well, the Latin name of the fish is Marone saxatilis, right? So it's stupid rockfish, right? So,
Gerry, the striper is the symbol on your website.
Well, I know, and listen,
there's one on the wall behind him.
Look,
there's one on the wall behind him.
Chris, back then when I first started fishing, you couldn't catch a striper, right? There were no stripers anywhere. The bay was polluted. It was bluefish all over we used to fish exclusively for striped bass. Then I found blackfish, right? You can go out at will and catch all the stripers that you want, at least on the salt, at certain times a year. So I just think the challenge of the blackfish and there's a lot of techniques, you got to know where to anchor. You got to know, are you going to fish a jig or a rig? And I don't know. I mean,
I'm with you at the blackfish.
Yeah.
I'm just with freshwater. I'm on the fence. I don't know. I mean, the only deciding factor for me is the acrobatics of the smallmouth. If you like that, hybrids. I had some guys tell me that the hybrids jump sometimes. I don't think I've literally ever seen it.
Yeah.
I think they were yanking them out of the water when they set the hook.
I never seen a hybrid jump ever.
No, I think Jeremy told me that, and I said, dude, I think you just set the hook so hard you yanked the thing right out of the water.
Well, how about you, Joe? What's your two passion fish?
I like steelhead. Saltwater, I like fluking.
Okay, yeah. I like
I know a lot of guys that really like fluking, and it's just the constant drifting movement and the contact with the bottom. It just
realistically, I just like bottom fishing in general. I love black fishing, sea bass fishing, anything on the bottom.
So I'm going to be going on my first steelhead trip. I think we go up to Pulaski on the 4th of November. Bunch of old friends, going up there. I guess that's kind of steelhead season. I don't know what I'm.
They're starting right now.
It's on fire already. Yeah, it's real good.
Yeah. So we're renting a house with a bunch of guys and up in the area there, an Airbnb, and going to stay up there for 3 or 4 days. So I'm going to get my taste of that too.
That's awesome. How you fishing? Spin rod or fly rod?
I have no idea. All these guys told me is all you need is waders. We have everything else. Center pin.
Center pins.
They'll teach them the right way.
Center pin, spinning tackle. You want to, one of the guys is going to bring up some fly stuff. So I don't know.
That's awesome. Yeah. They're once you catch, they're my favorite. They're just unbelievable.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, there's something like very, very serene about not being on a boat with a motor or electronics or any of that stuff, and just the peace and quiet. I know you're probably not going to get it up there when you're elbow to elbow to people.
Yeah, depends how cold it is.
Yeah.
Usually trout season's not as anything near salmon season.
No, it ain't gonna be that.
It's like maybe a quarter of the. It's still crowded, but it's not anything near salmon.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure maybe that'll be my next passion fish. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe we'll be up there, Chris.
You're gonna. Yeah. I mean.
No,
I spoke to Mike K. I gave him the dates. I know those guys were looking. to rally around a date or two. I think Mikey's gonna potentially bring his drift boat up there, but
Nice.
you know,
I
That's
think
cool.
it's Chuck Manny's day. That's Chuck Manny's new day.
Oh yeah, we had to change the date fishing with Chuck, but we're definitely we'll be up there a couple more times for sure. Just
yeah.
not totally sure of
I,
the
I
date
I've
yet.
never been up in Pulaski, only because I
Oh
heard
wow.
it was kind of like a zoo. A and B, gosh, for 30 years we've been driving right past it and going up to the Thousand Islands and spending 4 or 5 days on an island with a bunch of guys smallmouth fishing. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what? I didn't do it for the longest time for that same reason.
mhm.
And now that I have gone a couple of times, I will say, I mean, you've seen the pictures in the video. It is true. Your fears are true, but there are ways to do it to avoid stuff like that. Like,
Yeah,
if you stay at a lodge, and even during salmon season, I mean, the public holes were crowded. I stayed at a lodge with a group of guys from Winfield Sport Club, and the lodge has its own property that people can't walk through to get to the river.
right.
And so you're kind of just fishing with the handful of guys you're staying at the lodge with. And it's totally not what you see in these videos.
Right.
It's you can keep your sanity and enjoy the fishing. There are ways.
You can get away from people up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've heard, especially with the steelhead, they tend to roam a little bit further and last a little bit longer. And so,
And the
Mikey knows a million spots.
oh, I'm sure he does.
yeah.
Gerry, I can't thank you enough for coming on with us tonight, and
My pleasure.
hopefully we get
Am
to.
I not asking Eggplant Daddy's question?
Well, he had. There's 90 questions here. How many are you gonna ask? Go ahead.
I mean, I don't know, Gerry, if you've seen this character, Eggplant Daddy.
I have. I don't know what eggplant caddy is or does,
Daddy.
but I've seen it.
Eggplant Daddy.
Eggplant daddy. I seen
I
Mike
met him.
K.
I've met him in person.
Okay.
So we're not sure if it's some kind of creation from Scott Howard, or if somehow,
Scout?
yeah, or if somehow Dwayne NJ Squatch transformed into this Eggplant Daddy. But Eggplant Daddy has his own social media now, and he posts fishing reports. And he had a question for you, and it's just simply he just wanted to know, when you're enjoying eggplant parm, if you prefer it on a roll or on top of spaghetti.
On top of spaghetti, for sure.
There
For
you go.
sure.
Okay.
Thanks for that question. I'm sure people are sitting at the edge of their seat right now.
Thank you, Scoured.
Look, I promised him I would ask the question.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
I have a fear of that this thing is going to appear in my bed at night, and I just want to keep it happy.
Gerry, thank you so much for coming on, and we will, like I said, be talking a lot more about this Christmas party. 'Cause
Yeah,
now I'm
man.
sure.
Jerry, the Christmas party is going to be awesome.
Yes, it will.
I can't wait. I've gone a couple years before we had to stop doing them, and it was awesome every time. Just hanging out with the guys that you talk to on these sites,
Yeah.
and bullshitting with them, and the raffles are awesome. Like the donations of prizes that we just raffle off. It's like it's harder to not win something in the raffle than it is to win. So like it seems like everyone's winning stuff. There's such cool stuff. I won a trip on the Fishmonger with Jerry Pastorino one year for the whole boat. I brought 10 friends with me on with
Wow.
I won.
Those were the days, my friend.
I mean, it's just an awesome time. I can't wait. We're excited to kind of team up with you and run this NJ Fishing Mayhem Christmas party. It's going to be awesome. Hopefully we don't have to kick any of our guys out by their.
Well, listen, I appreciate, you guys inviting me on. I appreciate the two of you and what you're trying to do. And
What are we trying to do? We don't.
well,
even know.
listen,
We don't know what we're doing.
listen, if you're not fishing, you might as well be talking about it. Number one.
I guess.
And developing a community, right? I mean, to me, that's kind of like what it's all about. So I appreciate the two of you, and listen, the three of us have to go out fishing sometime.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
Come on now.
We have a lot of options now. We can go steelhead fishing with Joe if you like it when you go in with your friends.
Yep.
Or we can force Joe to go smallmouth bass fishing.
Yeah, or we can fish for blackfish on our boat.
That's what I
Ooh.
want to do.
All right,
There
we
you
don't
go.
have to force anyone to blackfish, so that's it.
No, I think all right. We're all in agreement. Blackfisher king.
Blackfisher King, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jerry.
You're welcome, Joe. Be well. You too, Chris.
You take care, Jerry. Thanks again.
You're welcome. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye, Jerry. All right, so that's pretty crazy. We're going to be throwing a NJFishing.com and Mayhem Christmas party.
Dude, it's gonna be. You've never gone to one before, have you?
I went to one NJF Christmas party. I thought, for some reason, when I looked at the calendar, I thought it was on a Thursday night. When I just saw it's on a Saturday night, I was like, holy shit.
Well, he used to do them on Thursday nights. I think the place probably only offered that for whatever reason, or else you probably had to like fill up the room. I don't know. It's under new ownership, the place now.
He basically just said he wants to put the members of Multi-Species Mayhem in a room on a Saturday night with alcohol,
It'll be
fishing raffles, and yeah, it'll be unbelievable. It'll be great.
I will say right now for anyone listening, there is a cap limit. Like
yeah, it'll sell out. So if you
pay.
want to go, get tickets. What did he say? 75 about?
No, I don't think it's a little bit cheaper than that.
I think this kind of am I wrong with this kind of a thing? Like most people are going to bring their wife too, right? So it's going to be like
I wouldn't say most people, but some people do, some people don't. It's totally, you could bring whoever. You could bring your cousin that fished once and wants.
Yeah, all right. So the tickets are going to go fast because most people are going to buy them in pairs probably.
Yeah.
All right. Monday Night Football's on, but we have to bring on Aaron Graybill. He has a huge announcement that he needs to make, and he is also at a Deuce, can you start working on getting either Graybill or Kevin Cool in here? They are at Battle Creek Baits right now, helping Pete pour baits.
Okay.
Battle Creek Baits makes all Lake Hopatcong Guide Services rubber baits now. And Kevin Cool and Aaron have actually gone there to help him pour some for themselves.
Are they going through that many baits right now?
Yeah, they have been. Plus, they're working on like designing some of their own custom stuff. But he wanted to come on the podcast tonight to make this big announcement, but he had to do this thing from Battle Creek Baits. So I said, okay, we'll just come on and make your announcement from Battle Creek Baits then. So
Why not?
okay, so that was Gerry Zagorski. Now we have on Lake Hopatcong Guide Service owner Aaron Graybill, and apparently Kevin Cool's son is with him.
Babyface Kevin Cool.
Babyface Kevin Cool, the babyface killer.
This is actually the real Kevin.
Is that him? What did he get younger? Aaron, what's your big announcement that you have to make? What do you have to tell us?
Yep. So a lot of you guys are aware this fall. There's a scheduled 5-foot drawdown on Lake Hopatcong for dock repairs, seawall repairs. So conditions are sketchy to say the least. Even just getting in and out of boats was a major challenge for our customers. And this was 2 weeks ago when the water was even higher. So we decided to use it as an opportunity. Kevin and I kind of looked at each other and said, hey, you know what, let's make the most of this. You know, we fish Hopatcong every day. That's our heart and soul. We love it. Phenomenal lake. But we were like, you know what? With these conditions, let's have some fun. We got a big client base now who fished Hopatcong over and over with us. And we were like, you know what? Let's offer something new for, just for the for the fall of 2023. So we relocated up to Greenwood, and we've been up there for a week now. And we're running all of our trips, both Kevin and I, on Greenwood Lake, really just smashing walleyes, man.
Yeah, I saw it. I mean, that lake's awesome. It's just I wish I lived closer to it, honestly, but I gotta try to get up there with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, the invite's always open.
Yeah, we'll have you.
So now you plan on doing this now until the water goes back up, then you'll return to Lake Hopatcong, or is Greenwood now going to stay a permanent option for you?
No, so just for the fall, we're we're planning on staying up there. We got our setup. We got some support up there. We got some people helping us. So we're dialed in like full time, man. We're operating out of there for the fall. At least that's the plan at the moment. But yeah, we kind of made up our minds. We're going to do something new and have some fun. Just as
And are
fishermen too. You know, we want to offer our customers something new. But as fishermen, it's just a fun opportunity. I think we had to try something new.
Yeah, it'd be fun till hard water sets in. So we're excited.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Are they gonna let you operate out of there until there's ice and you no longer can fish from the boat, or?
Yep. As of right now, we're going to be operating out of there till hard water. But who knows what the future's got? I mean, that lake is
Actually, I'm sorry. I don't want to jinx it. Your guys are going to be fishing there from a boat straight through winter because there's not going to be any ice, and I sold all my ice fishing.
Hey, last year we had our boats out of the water for I think it was 2 weeks. So
we were doing trips January, February. Yeah, we were opportunistic when the water was open.
I refuse.
And what are you guys doing mostly? Jigging, swim shads?
Yeah, so I'll tell you what, man. Just to talk fishing for real for a minute. It's been our plan was, Kevin and I made up our minds. We're gonna go up there. We really want to get dialed in first. We're not experimenting with customers on the boat, nothing like that. We wanted to be truly dialed in. And every day we've been rolling up there with a boat full of friends, and we've tried all kinds of different stuff, and we've dialed in on a couple really good bites. In the past, every time I'd fished it in the past, it was mostly vertical jigging. Was a really good way to fish them. We've opened up a couple other bites right now that are just killing it. I mean, it's been unbelievable, man. We're putting in really good numbers of fish. And then quality, we stuck a 7+ this week, a whole bunch over 5, and we have been on the lake for 5 days.
And the crazy part is, like, fishing Hopatcong for so long, you see the alewife population and you think it's abundant until you get up to somewhere like that. We're snagging alewife bigger than what I've ever seen on Hopatcong, so that was pretty cool. So it's just been very interesting, very fun. We're using different methods than we fish Hopatcong, so it's been fun.
We're fishing totally different.
Yeah.
That's something that's been really cool to us. We're so dialed in on Hopatcong, and I think something Kevin and I both do well is we push ourselves. We look for different bites. We're always looking for the next presentation, things like that, and it's really paying off up here because we've been able to be really creative, I think, with what we're doing, and it's really paying off, man. It's only going to get better.
Now you know.
That's what I was going to ask. It kind of. Sorry, what was that?
Now you know why the fishing report last week was an eggplant.
Eggplant.
Yeah, eggplant daddy. I think I'm scared of him. That's what I was going to ask you guys. If you did you take what you do on Hopatcong and kind of modify it a little bit, or is it just completely like you're doing completely different stuff?
A little bit of both. So it's definitely walleye. They're going to act the same every lake. It's just
New Jersey walleye or New Jersey walleye. You go somewhere else, they're fucking different fish.
Well, I almost Greenwood seems like that different type of water, though. To be honest with you, I mean the way we've been catching them on Greenwood is just it's unbelievable. It's a lot of fun.
Our starting point, I think, our first day, it was let's take what works on Hopatcong, and literally by the end of the first day, we were already branching off, doing different stuff, tweaking things, different baits, different profiles. And we've really just branched out from what's effective on Hopatcong, and we're learning a lot about these fish, man. You can be more aggressive with your presentations. Bigger profiles have worked well. You can be a little more on Hopatcong. I think we're very finessey.
Yeah, definitely.
Overall, here you can be a little more aggressive, and we're getting a lot of bites, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Now, just fair warning. I think if you guys share too much about this place publicly, you might find Eggplant Daddy in your closet one day. Just fair warning. And I think you had a run-in with Eggplant Daddy there the other day, where I think you were chased around the lake, were you not?
Getting freaking heckled. One day out in the lake, we're already getting heckled. It's unreal.
Dude, this little eggplant screaming at us from across the lake. We had the outboard on. All we heard was something about going back to Lake Hopatcong. And I thought I heard a few F-bombs in there somewhere too.
When I heard that you were being yelled at to go back to Lake Hopatcong and you didn't know what was happening and just kind of kept moving along trying to avoid the situation.
So for our viewers, what happens? Me, Kevin, our buddy are out there and we had the outboard on and it was just about dark. And we just heard, we couldn't see you guys. We couldn't hear what you were saying. All we heard was go back to Lake Hopatcong and then a whole bunch of hooting and hollering.
That's a stuffed animal. We have nothing to do with it.
I wasn't even there. I haven't been there yet. I'm trying to get you to meet me up there so I can fish there.
Well, you texted me about fishing Saturday. I guess you were afraid of the rain.
Well, no, we tried to go albie. We wanted to take our one shot at going albie fishing this season because Joe's never done it, and I haven't gotten out there at the right time in a couple of seasons. And it seemed like we had a window to get out there albie fishing with our buddy Ken, and the ocean was a little too rough for his boat, and he wasn't comfortable, and so we had to come in the bay and fish. We ended up fishing for stripers, but
yeah, it's even pretty wicked on the lake too. So I hear you.
Yeah. I mean, we fished in the rain. We suffered. Don't worry. But
dude, I love the fall weather, man. Cold weather, windy, rough. It makes you feel like you're fishing, man.
I hear you.
Right, so Lake Hopatcong Guide Service is now on Greenwood Lake
For the fall.
For the rest of the fall and probably straight through winter because I don't think we're going to get any ice. And that's my anti-jinx for the episode. And you guys are okay. Blink twice if you're okay because it looks like you're in a torture chamber.
So you guys were asking us about our presentations and stuff like that. So a big part of what we're doing up there, we have a good friend of ours, Pete, who is in his laboratory right here. Mm-hmm. Pete owns Battle Creek Baits, and he pours custom baits, custom plastics.
Hello, Pete.
What's up, boys?
Pete, what's going on? You came in the shot before, and it looked like you were getting some kind of torture tool ready.
Yeah, no, I was just trying to keep it somewhat quiet for you guys. Shop fans and microwaves don't make for good background noise.
Well, Pete's coming on in November to talk about Battle Creek.
We're going to have you on in November, and we'll talk more about these baits and how you make them, how to use them, and what makes them stand out. Why Aaron Graybill's using them versus other baits? Because I got to say, I've never used your baits, but if Aaron Graybill's using them, I'm curious. I want to use them too.
A lot of these big fish pictures you're seeing on Greenwood are coming from. We've put together custom colors, custom plastic densities. All kinds of crazy combinations, man. He
got Graybill to show up at his house. I mean, he must have something good there. Guy's impossible to find. He got him to come over.
Back.
Is this the first time he's been there?
Yeah, I've been here twice.
Wow.
Twice. I can't even get
so Lake Hopatcong Guide Service offering something new on Greenwood Lake. Battle Creek Baits is coming on in November. I'm going to watch Monday Night Football. Chris?
Aaron, I think I speak for most of northern New Jersey. Shove that Phillies hat up your ass.
Back.
Yes.
Yeah.
NLCS, baby.
Kevin?
Game 1 tonight.
Go Jets.
Guys, thank you for coming on. If you just before you guys just came on, Gerry Zagorski just announced he's bringing back the NJFishing.com Christmas party, but it's going to be NJFishing.com/mayhem Christmas party.
We're teaming up with them.
That's awesome.
And we're having.
It is December 16th.
We will participate in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, well, we're definitely gonna. If anyone, any businesses and stuff that want to donate stuff to like the huge raffle that we have to the party, but I hope you guys can maybe come too. I mean, it's awesome. A blast.
Yep.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
It's on a Saturday night.
We'll collaborate. Plus, any chance we get to see our favorite fisherman's favorite fisherman, which are you two, we will be there.
I mean, geez, you guys are signing autographs, making people cry these days. You guys,
That's only Chris.
Santa
yeah,
Claus kissing
What
babies.
the hell are you talking about?
unreal.
Chris
Joe
signed
made-
an autograph
Joe
for
made
a guy in
Matt
Yeah,
ShopRite.
Joe's
I
making
didn't
people
sign
cry.
shit.
It's awesome.
Chris is signing autographs at ShopRite in a Long Valley. Guys, thank you for coming on so much.
Appreciate
And,
it, guys.
Thanks,
Yeah.
guys.
Good night. And the Pete,
Yes, sir.
we'll see you in November.
I'll be here.
Yeah.
Hey,
we'll
I got one
probably-
more thing. One more thing.
Bring free stuff for us.
One more
Come
thing for
on.
the viewers. Subscribe
up,
to the
Dave?
damn YouTube channel.
Amen.
Joe,
Yes,
you don't have to do it.
Subscribe.
you saved me
Easy,
time.
just
I
click
could
the
go
button.
right off.
These guys are working hard. They got an awesome episode. They got an awesome podcast. They're putting in a ton of work. Subscribe,
Thank you.
like, all that.
Dude,
Do what Aaron
that
says.
right there and put it in the advertisement.
Clip it. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks, boys.
See you, boys. Thank you,
Take
guys.
care. You got it.
Good shit, fellas.
That works.
Fucking eggplant.
I got I was waiting until you were done. I was like, what the?
Dude, I laughed my ass off when Dwayne told
You
me.
got to click the red hang up
Yeah, I don't
button.
see it, so.
All right, they're staying.
Dude, wait till you see some of these baits we're pumping out. We'll fish with them. We'll fish with them when you guys come out.
Tell him to send me his
Can I give him-
address.
All right.
Get rid of Aaron. We'll see his baits.
So you,
Okay.
I forget, you did the intro, the normal intro already?
Yeah, the show's over. I'm
don't have
not
to
even
do
talking. Yeah, the show's completely over. It's been way too long. Andy still turned it off over an hour ago.
Can I make one announcement before you cut this off completely?
Fine.
I'm dead serious. NJ Fish and Wildlife just made this announcement, so I just wanted to make sure anyone who didn't get to see it. Saturday, October 21st is one of those free fishing days where you don't need a fishing license to fish. So any adult that wants to try fishing and go out with their friends, they don't even have to buy a license or anything.
I did see that. I saw
Yeah.
that.
And they're actually, and I don't believe they've ever done it. They've done the free fishing days before, but this time they say they're doing a special. I don't know if it's brood stock trout.
Oh yeah, the three lakes, right? They're
Said
put
a one-time stocking of large rainbow trout, hybrid striped bass, and largemouth bass into these three lakes: Hughes Lake, Third Ward Park, City of Passaic in Passaic County, Roosevelt Pond and Roosevelt Park in Edgewater Township, Burlington County, and Rowan's Pond Wildlife Management Area in Borough of Clemington in Camden County.
one of those. I think is near Adam Mihara because he messaged us to go fishing with him. For that.
Oh, maybe he can finally catch a hybrid striped bass and see.
I doubt it.
Rip
No.
a largemouth in half.
I doubt it. No, he just reels his lures in to make sure they float, and that's it. He doesn't do anything
Yeah,
involving
and then
fish
catches
at all.
fish
No, I've never seen any fish. No.
You
Okay,
caught
that's it.
on his lure.
What?
You caught a fish on his lure that he sent you.
Well, that's me. That ain't him. I don't see him catch anything with it.
I've seen him catch some small bass.
I think I'm better with his lures than he is.
All right. Well, we'll see how he takes that challenge, I guess.
He's sleeping already. Okay.
All right. You can end the episode now.
All right, guys. So yeah, a lot of news. Christmas party coming. What do we have coming? Nothing. You're going Rhode Island fishing, and I'm probably
going
just going.
Tog season is open in, I believe, New York, Rhode Island. I love fishing for tog in Rhode Island.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go troll Round Valley. I think, or Merrill Creek.
Me and Katie are heading up to Rhode Island to fish on the Bounty Hunter for blackfish up there. I love it. Try to do it every year. Last couple of years.
All right, so hopefully we'll get some pictures from Chris from Rhode Island. We will see everyone next week.
That's it. All right. Take care.
Take care. Yeah.